Good morning. It's Monday morning. How are you guys doing? It is so good to see you. Happy Monday in November. Is today the 4th? Today's the 4th. Good to see you guys. I missed you so much. I just missed you so much. As you know, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't know. I had gone to Orlando from Minnesota, so I just came back from 80-degree weather to 50-degree weather. It's fine. It's fine. I'll be fine. Oh man, I didn't use my microphone for Instagram. As long as it's okay, we're good. And so I went down for a Kingdom Business conference in Orlando, and now I am back. And wow, what a great weekend it has been. Hopefully you guys are doing really, really well. I definitely missed seeing your faces, so to speak, all of your names, your faces. And but it was fun to meet some other strangers that I had met online as well. So it's such a good journey to do that. If you are on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. I'd love to know where you're coming in from. If you are in Minnesota, let me know. I do have an in-person product event coming up in this Saturday. And it's just been crazy to me how I have met strangers. I've met you guys like in person here in Minnesota. And I don't think I would have ever ran into you in the grocery store. But here I am running into you online and having this opportunity to meet you. So if you are in Minnesota and you want to come out for that event, just message me. I'll give you a big hug. And I would love to do that very, very much. And if you don't know, anything about like who I am or why I come on here every day, like seriously, people, why is she still here? Which is possible, very possible. So my name is Kirsten Liebelt, and my dad died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63 years old. And I was only 30 at the time, and my kids were very little. And I just remember, they were 6 and 3 and 6 months old when he died. And I remember a couple of nights before he actually passed, we were home on a sort of vacation. And we knew his health wasn't great, but he wasn't in the hospital or anything. He had just been on dialysis at that point for a couple of years. And he was he didn't have a lot of color going on. His heart was not happy. And we were at the Mall of America because, hello, I live in Minnesota. We went to the Mall of America and he rode around on his scooter, and we got to have a little bit of time like that. And the kids on his lap and whatever. And, it was only a couple of days later that he had gone for his dialysis appointment in the hospital. And he was in a position where he was doing dialysis, and then he would go home and throw up. And then the next day he'd feel good. And then he would go to dialysis the next day and he would throw up. And he just did this for a long time. And I remember, I think it might have been Monday night that we went to the mall. I can't remember perfectly because this was 28 years ago. And then Wednesday, he was sick and he was throwing up. And that's when he told my sister, this is no way to live. And it was Friday morning that he passed. He went to his dialysis appointment. He came out. He sat at the cafeteria. He signed a check for his lunch, and his heart just gave out and he was done. And that's why every day I come on here. Hold on. I have to take my gum out because rule number 1 about talking, don't have gum in your mouth. So excuse me. I guess that's rule number 1. It probably is rule number 1, or it should be. And, the problem is that we have so much type 2 diabetes and we have so much insulin resistance, which I understand they can be interchangeable terms, but sometimes you're insulin resistant and you don't even know it because your sugars haven't risen yet. So you can be insulin resistant forever before it shows up in your blood. And most people don't know that. And we don't know these terminologies. I knew about my insulin resistance, didn't know the terminology when I was pregnant with my first baby at 22, gestational diabetic. And didn't do anything about it until my upper 40s. It's Monday. Good morning. And now I'm in my upper 50s. I'll be 60 in January. But my point being that there are so many detrimental effects to this seemingly common conversation that we're having. And it's not okay. And so this is why every day I come on here Monday through Friday and I go live at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and I talk to you about insulin resistance. And insulin resistance leads to, because it literally is the core foundation of pretty much freaking everything. And nobody is even talking about it. I shouldn't say nobody, but you know what I mean by that. Good morning, Tanya. Thank you so much for jumping on and loving the TikTok. I appreciate you so much. And most people are not talking about it. And what's happening then is we're getting all of these detrimental effects, and you're only given information seemingly when it's time to put you on meds. How's that working for us, people? How's that working for us? So it's very, very frustrating. So my story now is that I'm the only one who has avoided type 2 diabetes in my family, the only one. I had a lot of obesity and type 2 in my Italian family. Certainly not all of them are type 2, but in my immediate family. And I'm 59 and I'm not on any meds. And I just feel really good pretty much all the time. This last weekend, however, my sciatic was not happy with me. I don't know, traveling, sitting in a conference, I don't know what it was. And Saturday night, this is just a little side note for you. Saturday night, I was like, oh, man, my sciatic, it's kind of like mad. And so I took 2 of our turmeric that I talked to you guys about, and I went to bed. I felt so good in the morning because it's like phenomenal absorption. And I posted it in my stories, and somebody goes, that turmeric is amazing. OMG. And I'm like, I know. So that's a little side note for you. If you're looking for an alternative to that over-the-counter IB, you might want to consider that. But anyway, good morning, Terry. Good to see you. We're all back at it. Oh, you love the hat and the shirt. Be the light. Thank you, Tanya Lee. So this is what I got this weekend because I went to, it was a Kingdom Business Conference. And so be the light. And this actually, I don't know if you can tell, maybe on TikTok you can a little bit more, but you can kind of see it's glowy. So this is blingy, but this is glow in the dark. So I'm a little jacked up this morning with a lot of stuff going on. But I thought, you know what? I really do actually love I love having things that are connecting me to areas of my life. So like, for instance, now this one is part of our business team. If not now, when? This one is Faith Over Fear. That was the conference. And then this one is Be the Light, or Let Your Light Shine. And, you know, I know they seem really silly, maybe to some people. I started doing that a couple of years ago. And I just love having on me reminders of things that I'm walking out or things that I'm believing for, etc. So anyway, that was a long conversation. So today what I want to do is I really do want to get into the meat of our conversation. So I'm on the airplane and I'm flying to Orlando. This is last Wednesday. And I'm looking on the TV, Delta, all the different things. And I see this documentary on gut health. And because I'm such a freaking geek about all this stuff, and I said in my stories this morning, I think it comes from a place of having been so disconnected from my own body for so long. Like I connected when you're a teenager and you're getting your period and you can tell you're getting cramps and you can kind of tell, oh, I'm getting my period, or oh, I'm ovulating, or oh, I'm bloated, and you're paying attention. And then all of a sudden life comes in. Is this anybody else? Life comes in and all of a sudden you're a mom and you're busy. And you're working, maybe you're in corporate America, and life just starts to go. And it's almost like the snowball picks up speed. And all of a sudden you're thinking less about your body and you're paying less attention to all the signs and the signals, and you're just on the river. You're in a boat on the river and you're just going. And that is very much my story. And so when I, in my upper 40s, over 25 years after my gestational diabetes, so it's not too late for you, in my upper 40s, I finally started to pay attention again. And I always talk about how, when it did come to the food, and I won't get into this right now, but I started asking myself questions. So like, Kirsten, good morning, Magda. Good to see you. I started asking myself questions. So Kirsten, what do you like? You don't really love all food. Like, what do you actually like? Because I was under certain impressions about myself and I was just on my river, right? Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. And so I started asking myself questions and getting back in touch with my own body so that I could actually walk through this process of going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. And then because when you bring your sugars and your insulin down, I've actually lost 3 sizes now in my 50s. But but that's why then when I got on the plane and I saw this documentary, this is why I'm such a geek now, because when I started to realize that I did not have to fear going to the matrix, it's why I started to supplement, because I was too scared to go to the doctor, because my dad's life was just very impacting on me, looking for sores that didn't heal, etc., peeing all the time, thirsty all the time. So I'm like, I don't want to know. La, 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 la. I don't want to know. I don't want to know if my sugars are high. La, 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 la. I don't want to know anything. Super irresponsible. I get it, but that's where I was. So it's my story. And then when I did start paying attention, now I'm on the other side of that completely, where I get on an airplane and I'm like, oh, look at there. It's a documentary on gut health. Let's watch that. And there was literally a screenshot that I took on there that was like, basically your gut microbiome and type 2 diabetes. And I'm like, here we go. So I wanted to bring you through just some of this information because, again, I want people to have some sort of an understanding that there are not just connections, but they are connections that you and I actually have control over. And we do not have to subject ourselves to the full submission of the medical provider matrix if we don't feel like we're getting answers. Listen, if you are getting amazing answers and you are getting amazing help and you love the help you're getting, that is wonderful. That is fantastic. But most of the people who do end up with my content are people who are dissatisfied with what is being told to us. Hattie, good morning. You're listening. That's wonderful. This is very important. I feel like I'm on here to give people permission. I'm here to give you permission to take back your health, to rise up and say, I actually do have wisdom inside of me. I actually do have discernment. I actually do know my body. And I don't appreciate those side effects or whatever it is. So here we go. So I took a bunch of notes off of this documentary, and this is kind of how this goes. So let me see here. I'm going to start at the beginning. Hold on. All right. This was actually super fascinating because they were doing a study of the gut microbiomes of people in the United States. And then after a while, they realized, why are we only doing United States? Like, this isn't really giving us a very full picture of what's going on. And so then they moved to gut microbiomes of people in Tanzania and then South America. And they really got answers by doing that. And so this might just kind of help you with another layer of understanding of, why do we have so much disease? Why does this seem to be accelerating? And guess what? Spoiler alert, your gut has a huge piece to do with this. Okay, so basically, your gut is actually your stomach, your esophagus, your intestines, and your colon. It's not just your stomach. I think we always think it's just our stomach. I thought that was super interesting, all just by itself, each playing a very critical role in digestion and nutrient absorption. So basically your stomach, your esophagus, your small intestine, and your colon. That is what your gut is. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? So there's a complex ecosystem. The microbiome, or the community of bacteria and microbes, impact every single area of your health. This is why it's such an important conversation. So this actually starts, you guys, from birth. This is so fascinating. My daughter and I kind of knew some of this from, she ended up having home births, 3 of them. And through that whole process, she really learned a lot about, I don't know. She just, oh, Kristen, I missed you too. I missed you guys so much. For anybody who's newer, you have no idea. I was off for 3 days last week because I went to a conference. And so anyway, so I was like, I missed you guys. Oops, I probably made a lot of noise in that microphone shaking my water. So anyway, thank you, Kristen. So this is really interesting. So starting from birth, your microbiome actually begins, get this, you guys, with exposure to microbes that are picked up from when you go through the birth canal, being breastfed, and your early surroundings like hospital, family, and pets. That is literally how it works. And if you were born from a C-section, it's not that you don't get it. You get it then from the skin of the mother. So you know how when they have the baby and then they have you go skin to skin? This is all a microbial conversation. And then you go home and the siblings or the parents or the pets in the house or whatever, everybody there, it's implanting like bacteria into you for your surroundings so that now you are connected. This light is so bright. Wow. Wow, that was bright. Blinding everybody on the screen on my Facebook. Okay. So and now we're probably a little too late into the video. It doesn't matter anymore. It's okay. Just deal with my world. Welcome to my brain. So the microbiome versus human cells. So human genetic material, only about 1% of our cells, genetic material is human and fixed at conception. So you've got that one piece, but now what happens is microbiome genetic material makes up 99% of our associated genetic material, which we can actively shape through lifestyle and diet choices. And this is why our microbiomes have changed so much in the last 75 years. Very, very fascinating. So this means that we have a real opportunity to take control of our health and immunity by nourishing our microbiome. Okay, so the diet evolution and its impact. This is super interesting because what they're actually saying on here is that because of the decline in the microbiome, which we're going to get to in just a minute, this has literally increased disease like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Are we listening? Are we paying attention now? Like, what if we could be fixing our guts? And this is, of course, this is a piece I talk about all the time as a part of your insulin resistance, right? So, but what if we have more control than we've ever thought that we did? This is like the best news ever. Oh, I talk to people with fatty liver and pancreatic issues and just it's all connected. And what if we actually could stop right now and say, nothing is more important than me getting a freaking handle on my insulin resistance and my gut microbiome, because nothing is going to matter if I go down a road of feeling like trash, side effects of medication, or death. Anyway, I have to stop because I'll tell you in just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's so within our control. This is not a terminal diagnosis. Okay, so basically then, diet evolution and its impact. So we started cooking foods. So there was a shift from raw to cooked foods, which means that our guts no longer had to work as hard to break down the raw ingredients. And probably this is a reason why there are so many people, why I understand we're very like indoctrinated, right? Like, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables. Well, did you know that there are a lot of people that are having digestive issues, IBS, Crohn's, autoimmune conditions where eating their vegetables makes them feel sick? Do you understand? Like, not everybody can anymore because we've changed the way that our gut is able to break down food or not break down food. So we changed the way that we were going from more raw foods to cooked foods. Then there was an agricultural revolution, and that changed our gut as diets became grain-based. Grain-based. And more plant diversity was lost. Okay, so I am telling you what, the grain food pyramid that you were given in elementary school was not wisdom. It was marketing. And it messed us up. It's messed us up. I will pause for this. Why I didn't take a video or a picture, I don't know. Inside of this hotel, there was a deli. And inside of this deli was it wasn't a Starbucks, but it was a coffee shop. And then it had major snacks. It even had a little area where you could get cooked oatmeal and you could get, something else, grits, because we were in the South. And I looked around every single shelving area, every single pick a snack area, every single, of course, they've got pastries by the coffees where you're going to order your coffees, the sandwiches, everything. There was very little that I could purchase that did not have grain in it. I could purchase Baby Bell little soft cheeses, which were amazing. I could purchase some salads, but most of the salads, unfortunately, had sugar on them. So it wasn't grain, but still sugar then. And I'm trying to remember. So I ended up grabbing peanuts, which are legumes, and I don't normally eat legumes, but those are the exceptions that I make. It's not, because I'm not allergic to peanuts. I just don't eat legumes in general. So especially when I'm teaching people about insulin resistance and trying to get your sugars under control. So I grabbed Baby Bell soft cheese and peanuts. Everything else was processed trash. And I mean, so many options. So this is the world we live in. And we're like, what the heck? So we were taught this way. So the change in our guts became grain-based and more plant diversity was actually lost. So industrialized and processed foods. The last 75 years have introduced industrialized and ultra-processed foods that our microbiomes do not recognize. They are not real food. Real food is a steak. It's an egg. It's an avocado. That is real food. Ultra-processed, our microbiome doesn't recognize. Processed foods contain preservatives, chemicals, low fiber, which reduce microbiome diversity and can promote inflammation, impacting everything from digestion to mental clarity. So where's your brain fog coming from? So the decline in microbiome diversity, studies comparing microbiomes, this is what I thought was so fascinating. And they had a graph, and they said the diversity in the diversity in Tanzania of how many different types of bacteria, Kristen, thank you so much, you're amazing, was about this much. And then in South America, and I don't remember if it was one country or just a region, it was about this much in diversity. And in America, it was this much. That's the diversity that's in our microbiome. So what has happened is we have lost diversity. Our diversity has gone down. Our disease has gone up. Diversity down, disease up. Okay? A less diverse microbiome has been linked to higher rates of, wait for it, obesity, metabolic disorders, and mental health issues. A diverse microbiome protects us from disease and ensures resilience against dietary and environmental challenges. So we've actually killed off, this is what this documentary was saying, we've killed off species in our microbiome. We've killed them off. I thought this was so fascinating because in my brain, we were just messing up our guts because we're eating trash, which is true. But we've literally changed through our life processes of agriculture and how we're cooking our food more. And we've literally killed off species. So our microbiomes are weak. They are weak. And so disease comes more easily. Disease develops more easily. And remember how we talk about insulin resistance leads to leaky gut. Good morning, Jan. Good to see you. Carla, good to see you guys. Very, very good. So, we talk about insulin resistance leads to leaky gut. right? Number one, who knew that? I would love to know if anybody has ever been told by a provider or anybody else that insulin resistance actually creates leaky gut, which means that you are not absorbing your nutrients, not from the supplements that you're taking and not from the food that you're eating. It's a big, big issue. This is why sometimes people with thyroid issues, it's a simple fix of iodine. That's why the trio does what it does. The trio, the 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, filling in nutritional deficiencies. Gosh, what if life was easier than you thought it was? What if it's not rocket science to turn around your insulin resistance? I can't even tell you how, who was it that was just texting me and saying that since July, she's lost 16 pounds. This was over the weekend. It makes my heart so happy because we can control this, you guys. We have to be in this together. We have to take back our own health, and we have to stop believing that this is hard. That is a limiting belief. I don't know if you know that. It's a limiting belief to always believe this is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is going to be so hard. I'll never be able to change out my food ingredients. I've never been a disciplined person. I can't take supplements. I can't. Those are all things that we're sabotaging ourselves. Oh, I've got the best news ever. Okay, I'll announce it in just a little bit. From the weekend. Has to do with the self-sabotage no more in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. I'll tell you in just a minute. Okay, so in Europe, hold on, what am I missing? Hattie says, in Europe, McDonald's French fries have 2 ingredients. Two ingredients, people. I bet one of them is potatoes. Anyway, it's so sad. And in America, they have 19. And people still think they are just a potato. They are not. And in fact, people who are vegans, if they knew, they actually have, there's a coating that they put on the American fries, and it has milk in it. It has milk and wheat. Milk and wheat. What are we doing? Why? And so because they want this, they are trying to get it to, they're trying to create like a tallow taste. That they used to fry them in tallow, beef tallow. And then of course they went to seed oils, etc. And so they're trying to create a certain kind of a coating, crispiness, taste, whatever. And if you're vegan and you don't know that and has 19 ingredients, this is dumb. We are dumb. I shouldn't say that, but I mean, we're kind of dumb. The way that we just we don't, I don't know, maybe we're waking up now, right? We're all waking up together. I feel like that's what we're doing. We're waking up together. Hello from the UK. Hello, Helen. Good to see you. Anna, good morning, beautiful Anna. They don't tell that at all. I know, Kristen, they don't tell that at all. I'm so good, Anna. I had such a phenomenal weekend in Orlando. Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing really well too. Mwah. Back at you. Okay, so the role of fermented foods then. They went and talked about fermented foods. This is what we're talking about all the time with the gut primer. Who is on the gut primer? I would love to know who's been taking the gut primer and tell me one thing that you're loving about it. Oftentimes the thing that I'm hearing a lot about is the lack of constipation. So even if you're on the replay, go ahead and tell me that. I would love to know. The gut primer it has the 6 blends in it, and one of them is fermented greens. See, I don't eat sauerkraut and kimchi and stuff. I know I should, but I don't. But anyway, fermentation through the ages. Traditional practice. Ancient cultures use fermentation to preserve foods, unknowingly enriching it with beneficial bacteria. Hold on just a second, because I'm going to have my husband, if you would respond to the message coming in Messenger and just say, hey, Kirsten's on alive. You'll know what I mean in just a second. That was connected to the conversation from earlier this morning. Give me a thumbs up when you know what I'm talking about. You'll see it. We think as a society that we eat better and we are so smart, but we have become stupid because we are not self-advocating. That is right, Carla. I know. And we really aren't, we're not dumb. We aren't, but we've been very, we've been made to be very codependent upon a structure. And I call that structure the matrix because I have to talk in code all the time about stuff. You know, I can't say PHARMA, I have to spell it. But we've been taught that, you know, that our doctors have all the answers, and then, you know, we shouldn't question all of these things. And we've doubted ourselves less and we have trusted them more, but the results aren't showing up. So now we're kind of going, wait a minute, that's not making sense, etc. Right? So, okay. So ancient cultures used fermentation to preserve food, unknowingly enriching it with beneficial bacteria. So they were doing it. They did, didn't even know it. The industrialized version, hold on now, you guys. Today's store-bought yogurt and other fermented products are faster to produce. Okay. So they can produce fast, but they often lack the diversity and complexity of homemade versions. Isn't that interesting? So again, we go back to the diversity of the microbiome. And remember how Tanzania was like this, South America had this much, and America had this much. Like, we've killed off species in our gut. This is very interesting. So I always have known, like, when you go and you buy, they even did like a test and they said, when you go buy yogurt, not nearly as diverse and as amazing as if you just make it yourself. And actually, it's super easy to make. My daughter makes it all the time. And it's something as simple as, like, you're taking a half a gallon of milk, and she uses raw milk, and you're heating it up. You're adding just a couple tablespoons of regular yogurt from the store to get the bacteria started. And then you're like heating it and whatever, and you're letting it sit for a certain amount of hours, and you end up with yogurt. Like, it's really not even that hard, but we don't think that we can do simple things like that. We've become lax and too trusting. We have, Carla. I know. And it's just really, you just started today. I know. And Lisa. So Lisa does the gut primer this morning for the first day. And I'm going to tell you something. I have a friend who says that he thinks it tastes like Christmas in a cup. I do not agree. It does not taste like Christmas in a cup. You have to think about this for a second though. Okay. So it looks like a greens product, right? It looks like a greens product, and that's fantastic, right? But it's not. It is fermented greens, digestive enzymes, pre and postbiotics, alkaline spices, so you can taste that turmeric and that ginger. And this is all off of organic farms. And then it has extracts of fruits and vegetables. And that's what's really helping with that fiber. And it's moving your impacted waste along. But it's an entire comprehensive thought process to prime the inside of your gut. But I'm not a tea drinker. Like, at all. Like, the only tea that I like is, we have a peppermint ginger tea that I like, because that tastes like Christmas in a cup. That actually does, in my opinion. That's like peppermint, right? But this is not Christmas in a cup as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm actually now a little addicted to that ginger taste, that ginger spice on there, because I used to eat a lot of ginger with sushi. I love sushi, but I don't eat sushi anymore that way. I know that I can make a keto sushi, blah, blah, blah. I don't take the time, but I love that fresh little piece of ginger, that slice of ginger, that bite. Love it. So anyway, I tell you all that just to say that Lisa took her. She goes, oh my gosh, why does it taste so bad? I'm like, I know, but not everybody says that, Lisa. Not everybody says that. Everybody has different taste buds. And I have other people that are like, oh my gosh, I actually really like this. I thought I wasn't going to like it. And then there are some people that think it tastes like Christmas. I do not. So what I do is I take cold water from my fridge and I do just a little bit like this. And I kind of almost create like a shot. You know how you guys are taking ginger? Well, maybe you aren't, but you've heard of people or seen people. They're taking ginger shots. Like, you can get a ginger shot at a store or at a coffee shop or whatever. That's what I do. I treat it like a shot. So I put this much cold water in there. It's actually probably about this much, because that's the base of the cup. This much cold water. I whip it with my frother, with my deal. Okay. I do that because you can. You could also heat this as a tea. You can do that too, if you're a tea drinker. And I just down mine because I'm a functional person. I'm not looking for an experience. I'm looking for, like, just get in my belly and work for me right now. Like, just do what you're supposed to do and let's move on. That's kind of how I am. So anyway, so that was really funny. Lisa gave me a little chuckle this morning because she was like, oh my gosh. And I must admit, that's kind of how I was too at the beginning when I started taking it. I've been taking it now since August, and it's literally like, I think it might be because it was in my backpack when I went through security. It might be the reason why I got pulled over. My bag had to go through like twice through security. I'm like, were you wondering what the green substance was? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I never got an answer. But I just kind of chuckled at that because I'm like, I'm not going to travel without this. And, we just kept, I'm sure that the housekeepers or the cleaners in the hotel room were like, what are they doing every morning? They're leaving these green glasses like this with this stuff inside. Why are they? Like, well, because I wasn't going to be without it. I don't want to travel and feel like trash. I don't want to travel and be constipated. I don't want to travel and have poor sleep. I don't want to travel, get less sleep like I do when I'm traveling. When I'm going to these conferences, I'm getting less sleep. And I want to wake up feeling amazing. Not like I got hit by a Mack truck. So that's for me. And the reason why I am so invested in working on my gut, because it has changed facets of my life that I just didn't even know I could. But anyway, and Jan says she agrees with you, Lisa. Daily, Lisa. This is two Lisas. Lisa S on Facebook. Daily. It's literally, it's a begin of your day primer. It's a daily GI primer. You can test it though. You could buy one, split it up into 3 10-day resets. And right now I'm posting gut health in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. I'm posting 10 days of gut health, just facts and information for you. And I'll do it now in the beginning of November. I'll do it again in December. So if you want to test it and go on and off to see how that feels and how that's benefiting you, et cetera, you can, that's another, like a little hack thought process that you can do. So you can feel the difference, Lisa says. That's fantastic. What are you noticing, Lisa? I would love to know. Yeah, I mean, you like it. You find it very easy to drink down. See, Carol likes it. Everybody's different. That's how that works. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that. You thought the gut primer was going to be terrible tasting, but it actually tastes good to you. See, she likes it. See, Lisa, not everybody hates it. Good morning, Ruthie. Good to see you. Okay. I'm just trying to see if I can see all my comments on there. Your sugars are lower, Lisa. Would you be willing to tell me what that looks like? Lisa doesn't like, okay, so this Lisa doesn't like, I think it has something to do with the name Lisa. If your name is Lisa, you might not like the taste. 2 Lisas don't like the taste. Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to keep on going, but tell me more about your sugars, Lisa. I would love to know what that means for you. Like, did you test them before? What were they? They're lower now. By how much? And like, has that been steady? Because that's really good information for people to know. Okay, so making your own fermented foods are better than store-bought. So if you want to make your own kimchi, you want to make your own sauerkraut, you want to make your own yogurt. If you want to do those things, it would be more beneficial. Doesn't mean that you have to. But I personally, this is how I'm going to take my fermented foods. I've literally never, ever bought sauerkraut in my entire life. I've never purchased kimchi in my entire life. I will take their organic fermented greens and I'm good. I'll do that. You didn't think you would like the taste because it's green. I agree. But you do agree it tastes like tea and you like tea. So it was a pleasant surprise. That's fantastic. I think it's very much a tea thing. Pause due to poor connection. That was a glitch. So very good, Terry. So I kind of feel like we actually have more people that like it than don't. That's really good to know. I love that very much. Okay. So how the gut impacts your brain function, your hormone regulation, and your mood. So we've talked about this before, but let's just make sure that we all understand why we're doing this. Like, we don't need to just follow a fad just to follow a fad. I want it to actually make sense. I want it to make sense. I am very targeted in my supplementation. I'm very targeted in the things that I do, because otherwise, if I don't have a purpose for doing something, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be consistent because I don't have a why as to why I'm doing something. So your hormones and your neurotransmitters, gut bacteria produce enzymes, hormones, and neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, which impact your mood, your behavior, and your sleep quality. So remember when we talk about GLP-1, you know the term GLP-1, it's a hormone, and it's created in your gut. So if your gut is trashed, how much GLP-1 are you creating? How many of your dopamine and your serotonin neurotransmitters are you creating? So what if this is a connection to anxiety and depression? What if I already know the answer to it? It is. What if this is a connection to type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance and not fixing that piece of the puzzle? What if this is connected to lack of nutrient absorption? Like, fix your gut, fill in the blank. Fullness signals. This is a huge piece, and I feel like people don't completely understand this. I learned about this a few years ago, and this is very, very fascinating. So gut bacteria can signal our brains to stop eating by producing, fill in the blank, write down on that blank, hormones. This is all a hormonal conversation, you guys. It is 100% a hormonal conversation. All of it is, because insulin is a hormone, cortisol is a hormone, and ghrelin is a hormone. I think it's GHRELIN. It's another hormone that is, it tells you when you're full. It tells your brain to stop eating. So again, if your hormones are upside down, right? And then your GLP-1, and then like it doesn't stop, right? Oh, good, Lisa. So this is what Lisa's saying about her sugars, okay? First, she's saying that she's tried another product called, and I've never heard of it before, called Belly Welly. And she says this is much better. She wears a sensor, and it has dropped from 150 to the lower 100s. And that's since starting the gut primer. Is that right, Lisa? That's amazing. Oh, hear one thing from me today. Just hear one thing. Insulin resistance is completely reversible. Do not buy into the lies that you have to take PHARMA forever. I am not your doctor. I don't walk people through that. You walk through it with your own doctor, but you can get off of meds. I've had so many people get off of scripts for high blood pressure and cholesterol and type 2. I'm trying to think if I've had somebody get off of anti-anxiety. Just think about this for a second, you guys. Yes, you couldn't get it down until you tried this. Lisa, that is amazing. I'm going to write that up as a testimony if you're okay with that. That is amazing. Darla, yes. Like, I just am so, you're off of everything except your sensor. Are you willing to tell me what else you got off of? I would love to know. You thought okay. What about kefir? Good question. I think that, you know what, I've actually never looked at kefir, to be really honest, like the ingredients. So go look at the sugars on it. I think the sugars are going to be more of interest than anything. Carol says, yay, Lisa. And you're good with the sensor. Yeah. Oh, I get so excited. Woohoo. That is amazing. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. So again, let's talk insulin and antidepressants. Oh my stars. Lisa, had you started on the trio? Had you been taking the trio? Wow. Like, you're talking injections. I think I know now that you're saying this, I do remember this conversation with you. I could go back in our history and look at some of the conversation. That's just phenomenal. I get like, sometimes it shocks me. I'm going to tell you this. Like, sometimes it feels like this can't possibly be true, that it's this simple. How can this be when we are literally dying of pancreatic cancer? Isn't cancer like the big C? The big C. There's nothing you can do. Like, that's, everybody has C. Everybody. Like, who doesn't have it? That's how it makes us feel sometimes. And here we are talking about things that, like, how can it be this simple? And I'm not trying to make a connection. Trust me, I'm really not. I'm not trying to make a connection to this will take care of C. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I know that not paid attention to over time, insulin resistance and fatty liver can lead to fatty pancreas. And I just have had a lot of conversations even this weekend that brought that up again and again and again about pancreatic cancer and people passing, et cetera. So I was in a lot of really cool holistic conversations this weekend with people, and it was really, really, really fun. And it still dropped. Your sugars, so your A1C went from 7.1 to 6.5. She was up to 50 units. Oh, God, Lisa, this is amazing. Huge, Lisa says. You take the trio. Yes, you were up to 50 units a day. Your sugars went from 7.1 to 6.5, and it's still dropping. Your A1C is. Praise God. So, Lisa, I'm going to ask you one last question, and then I promise I won't bug you anymore. You were taking the trio, and when you inserted the gut primer, did that make another level of difference that you noticed, or were you taking them all at the same time at the beginning? And then I'll probably just message you offline so that I can like really grab a hold of your testimony, because people need to understand this. Like, if you're in a position where you are needing your sugars to come down, you're needing your A1C to come down, you're needing your weight to drop, you're needing things to move forward. I know that it doesn't always happen all at once where you are just absolutely like, because we want 2 weeks. Come on. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. And that's not how this works. That is not how, yes, she has more energy. She's taking berberine too. Very good. I definitely have people who are taking berberine. Hold on. So Lisa says that her mom died 3 years ago from pancreatic cancer. She found out and lasted a week and a half, and then she died. I'm really sorry. Yep. Your weight has dropped a bunch. I'm just so excited. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing all of that. You guys, it's just, I don't want to come on here and be weighty all the time, right? But these are really serious conversations. That diagnosis is not super yummy. I'm not going to declare anything on anybody because I don't want to do that. But oftentimes it's not a very positive diagnosis, because that's a tough one, right? Not tough for Jesus. I'm just saying, in general, we do not usually see super long life afterwards. And she said within a week and a half. And I do hear stuff like that kind of a lot. But anyway, your twin as well, Carla. Yep. Comfort and peace to you, she says. Lisa, you've gone from a 1X to a medium. In what length of time? Since you started the trio? And that was in the summer? No. You tell me. I don't want to make it up for you. All right. I'm going to wrap this up because you guys are blowing my mind in a good way, blowing it up with goodness. So your fullness signals, which have to do with hormones. The gut-brain connection means an imbalanced microbiome can lead to brain fog, mood swings, and trouble with emotion regulation. What? Emotional regulation. All right, so gut health for inflammation control and disease prevention. A balanced microbiome helps, and this is coming from a documentary that I watched on the airplane to Orlando on gut health and type 2 diabetes. A balanced microbiome helps regulate Inflammation, protecting against chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune diseases. Get your gut fixed. Get your gut fixed. Chronic inflammation can silently damage the tissues over time. And restoring gut health is the key to reversing or preventing this cycle. You have to heal your gut. Heal your gut. Okay? June. Since June, she's gone from a 1X to a medium. She's been using the trio and now the gut primer. And her A1C has gone down from, hold on, 7.1 to a 6.5. Her sugars are from 150 down to the 100s, and she's lost 2 sizes, 3 sizes since June. And Terry says she's done similar things since March. Wow. And Lisa says, it's amazing. Lisa, so excited. Carla says, inside out. You did have digestive issues, Lisa? And she says, no more. Wow, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. You guys, this is such a big deal. And how simple are these answers? I know. This Lisa says, that's awesome. It is awesome. Oh, okay. So let me just share with you what she's talking about so that you can have that understanding. We were talking about chronic inflammation silently damages your tissues, but you can restore it if you will heal your gut. And your simple tips for gut reset are fermented foods, reducing processed foods. That's a given, right? Hydrating and exercise, etc. And that is a lot of what they were talking about in this was talking about how you don't want to, and she's 64 years old. Let me put that up there too. That's amazing. You don't just want to add years to your life. You actually want to add healthy years to your life. So case in point, my mother lived to 94 with dementia. Adding years to your life is not the same as adding healthy years to your life. So if you are able to change the way your body functions so that you can move, you can think, you can feel happiness because of your neurotransmitters, you can feel stronger because of your nutrient absorption, you can move impacted waste and not live on over-the-counter meds or just feel like bloated all the time. Think about these things. You know, you can shift everything. Amazing. Carla says she had digestive issues for 7 months. She reduced her MET, that one drug, that MET, and BP meds, and now all is well. I alternate gut primer with sauerkraut. That's fantastic, Carla. That's fantastic. Oh, and Lisa, stop the insanity. You're so amazing. Okay. So she went from a wheelchair and now you just use it on really long walks. That is a story right there. That is a story. Nothing feels as good as health, Hattie says. Did the other Lisa do any exercise in the process? Lisa, did you do exercise? If I remember correctly, you started walking like to the mailbox. Were you started walking? Was that your main source of exercise while you were doing this since June? I think maybe that's all she did, Lisa, but I'll let her answer for herself. But I want people to know, like, I get it. Like, I'm not confused. We do have to, people are like, well, how am I possibly ever going to, like, that's it, she says, Lisa. She says, this Lisa says that's all she did was she was walking. I remember having that conversation with you. Yep. Walking. It's an intentional decision to earmark your resources for supplementation or things that can benefit you. And I get it. I really, really do. And I, shared with you before how, and I got to share the story with people this weekend. Okay. Okay, very good. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Lisa, she says, I got her started. She can't thank me enough. You are very sweet. You have your life back. Oh, Lisa, you just make my heart so happy, so happy. So I was talking about how, don't pay any attention to that. I'll have to jump off here soon. I was talking about how when 2008 hit, a lot of people know what 2008 meant. And we lost everything. We went through 2 years. It took us 2 full years to lose everything. We went to 2008 to 2010, and we lost our hobby farm of 20 acres and our 401k. And I mean, that's why I ended up building online business like this. Anybody can build online business and recoup money or pay off debts. That's what I can help people do. But we very much lost everything and did not have the resources to do anything. I very much remember the house that we lived in, that we were renting, and the grocery store that I would go to buy food. And my husband at the time, I'd have $50 to go buy food. And it was for me and my husband and then my youngest son. My other two were out of the house. $50. I mean, that doesn't buy you anything now. It bought you a little bit more, but not really. $50 was still like super not going to buy you a lot. And every time I did that, I felt like, and it was probably pretty true, but I don't want to exaggerate the story. Our cell phones would get cut off. And we had a family plan at the time, and I'd have to tell my adult children that, sorry, cell phones are off for a minute. We'll get them back up and running. I mean, it was a really challenging time. And yet it was at the exact same time that I started very little, very, very entry level, not doing what I do now, but very entry level. I started to deal with my sugars and my insulin. That was the time that my mother was giving me such a hard time about where my sugars were at and whether or not I even went to the doctor. My dad had died when I was 30, type 2 diabetes. He did it all, trashed his life, gone. And my mom was really bugging me. She's really on me about it. And so without any resources, that is the time that I started with the exact same products that I talked to you about. I mean, the gut primer didn't exist at the time. But when I talk about the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity, this is exactly where I started. And then when we're in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, the food ingredient trade outs, this is where I started. This is how I did this to completely avoid type 2 in my family. So I'm not giving you theory. I'm not giving you claims from a company. I'm not giving you anything. I'm telling you just my story. And now I get people like Lisa that come on and go, holy crap, it worked for me too. And Instagram's going to probably like blurt that out. Kristen, you're amazing. Thank you, Kristen. You're so, you just make my day. So love you, Carla. See you later. You do have the shakes. You're hoping those steps. You do have, you're hoping those stop. Okay. You think it was the antidepressant. Oh, okay. Got it. So you're coming off of some scripts that are still leaving remnants of symptoms. I understand. Yes. Let's continue healing. Let's continue moving forward and healing. And so all I'm saying is I really do understand that shifting our world, I had not yet shifted my food. So you have to understand I had not stopped purchasing the food that was really taking me down a bad road. But when you do trade out your ingredients, realize that when you stop buying all of the processed foods, you actually do have resources that you can reallocate for your own health. And you will be so happy that you did. All my mother ever wanted, and I mean like for real, her Swedish self never, ever, ever wanted to be a burden on anybody. And even inside of her dementia, she would say to me, this is hard for you, isn't it? This is hard for you. Like, it was so hardwired into her. She did not want to be a burden. Absolutely 100%. Never in a bazillion years did she think she would end up with dementia. Never, ever. And there she was, fully dependent upon myself and my sister. And we took her out of the system, brought her into our homes, took care of her until she was gone. And it was really hard. But guess what? Insulin resistance of the brain, type 3 diabetes. Let's not do this anymore. Oh my gosh, I just got a teddy bear, a dancing teddy bear. And a dancing flower. Oh my gosh, Kristen, you're just phenomenal. TikTok is just a party. It's just a party over there is what it is. But I'm just telling you, we can do this. Oh, you guys you get me so excited. Every day I get so excited with all of your testimonies. I get so freaking excited. Yeah, I know, Lisa. She's talking about how she got off of her sadness medication and how she kind of just did it quickly, and maybe it wasn't the best way, but she had to. Yeah. And she made decisions for herself back in the summer. And everybody has to do their own journey. That is not a part of my world, right? Because I'm not a doctor. But there are two things that you can do today. Tonight, just to let you know, I'm going to say this last thing and I'm going to jump off. Tonight in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, we are not doing self-sabotage no more. It'll be next week, okay? So there's going to be a break this week and then we're going to start up again next week. However, I hung out with the author of that book this weekend. Her name is Jenny Potter. I got to run into her, and she said that she will come into the group and she will do a session with you guys. And I'm going to post a video in there today. So if you're in the group, pay attention. I'll post a video that I did with her at the event, and just her saying hi. She's an amazing, phenomenal human being, a human being that just, she loves God. She loves people. She's the kind of person you want to be your friend. And she wrote that book, Self-Sabotage No More. And that's not all. I have Ginsu knives. I'm just kidding. But that's not all. She wrote another book, you guys, called Stuck No More. And she gave me copies of it. And she said that she'll, like, I'm just, you guys, like, how blessed. So maybe we'll end up doing another book study. I'm just telling you, like, this is amazing. So what a blessing. That's in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. If you need information on the trio that Lisa is talking about and how she went from a 7.5 to a 6.1 A1C since June, put trio in the comments. Get into my messenger or into my inbox on Instagram. The live comments will go away on Instagram and TikTok. That's why I put this up here, so that you can contact me, so that life is easy. Bunches and bunches and oodles of testimonies are on Instagram and a pink highlight bubble at the top for the trio. If you need to reset your gut and you know that that is a piece of your puzzle, please put gut reset in the comments or get into my messenger or my inbox on Instagram. And I will give you a cart that has the gut primer and then 2 probiotic choices. One is for stress, if you know that your cortisol is high, your adrenals are a little shot. And one is the one that I take, which has 5 strains in it. And it has stay alive technology, etc. Both, you're not going to make a bad decision. They're both excellent decisions. But if you need to go on that journey, literally, I am telling you, like your best friend, you can make your November and your December really different. I'm not saying perfect. I'm not saying magical, but I'm saying different. What if you went through the holidays and you actually were getting a jump on, I have to do something on TikTok right there to verify that I'm a human and not a robot. What if you did your holidays differently than you have done them before, and you actually feel good and you actually can keep moving that impacted waste and helping your sugar cravings and your nutrient absorption, all of these types of things, just reach out to me. This is literally what I do, is help people with insulin resistance lose sizes and deal with all of this shiz that, like, Lisa. Oh, yay, Lisa. Anyway. Okay, Jenny, I will send that to you. So anyway, you guys have, you love hearing the testimonies. I know, seriously. Oh, you like light me on fire, because it's like just telling the matrix to go jump in the freaking lake. You just get out of here with all of your PHARMA. And I understand there's a place for it, but this is not a terminal diagnosis, and we can change our own lives. We have what it takes inside of us. We have discernment about what's going on with our bodies a lot of the time. So, okay, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I can't wait to see you again. And whatever you need, let me know. And I'm going to go post that video into the group. So if you're in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, I'll post a pre-recorded video that I did with Jenny Potter saying, hey. All right, have a great day, Carol. Have a very, very good day. She says, Lisa S., you are the superstar of the day. I agree. Lisa S. is the superstar of the day. You guys are amazing. Have such a beautiful day. Enjoy.